Hey everybody, welcome to the Ultimate Swimmer March Madness Men's NCAA Division I Championships Recap Show. It's day 2. Man, I love this meet. I'm so glad it's online that we can watch. Even though we can't be there in person, it's online that all of us can watch. And it's been 2 years since we've seen this NCAA Division I men's excitement. And I'm Josh Davis. I'm along here with co-host Noah Yanchulis and our special guest, a multi-time national champion, American record holder, an all-around great guy, and a true ultimate swimmer, and most importantly, a proud Longhorn, Will Licon. Welcome to the recap show, Will.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
So we had a great lineup tonight. So Noah, why don't you give us the recap of what happened tonight, and we can talk about each of them.
Yeah, for sure. I'll just go do the quick rundown first. So Cal started the night off with a nice win in the 200 free relay. I believe one of the second fastest relay split or relay time in history, 1:14.3, and that was with their freshman Bjorn Seeliger. Ryan Hoffer obviously split 18:0. Daniel Carr and then Nate Biondi. Then we had the 500 freestyle. Jake McGahee, freshman out of Georgia, won that in 4:07.9. 2IM went to Shane Cassis from Texas A&M, first title in program history for Texas A&M, which is very exciting. And then we had Ryan Hoffer take the 50 free title for the second year in a row, and then finished up the night with a great relay win for both of y'all's alum or school, with Texas winning in 300. So just all around, it was an exciting night. Cal leads the way right now with 230 points. And Texas is close in second with 203. And I guess I'll mention as well that Texas went 1-2 in diving, so that was huge with Jordan Wendell and Noah Dupree.
Yeah, I was just going to say, us Texas fans, we do not want to forget that. The divers are huge. It's a big part of the team titles we've won and that Will's been a part of. And so let's just tell us, Will, what did you think about that 200 free relay at the beginning? You know, Texas was just not perfect, but it was a little back and forth there.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it was the start that I would say, the fan base wanted, or, most importantly, the guys competing and everyone currently on the team. But, it meets like this, like you said, it's March Madness. Like nothing's going to go perfect. I mean, very seldom does it ever go that way. And I think you just kind of have to find ways to rebound from it. And, especially with the 2 free relay not going the way they wanted. And I think going into the 5 free, I would say it's probably a underperforming event kind of compared to what we had hoped for. And I'm sure what the guys had kind of wanted to get out of it at this meet. And, I thought they rebounded really well towards the tail end of things.
Yeah, they definitely built back into the night. But some interesting things on that 200 free relay. One of my heroes, Matt Biondi, his son Nate Biondi, anchored with a 19:07, his lifetime split, held off a super fast 18.3 Florida guy. And so that was exciting for him and his dad. So that was kind of fun for me to see those generations like that. Alabama was nice. Georgia surprisingly fast. Texas A&M in there. But, it's funny. Texas was 115.8. And third place, Alabama, was 115.62. 2/10 separate those 4 teams. It's just crazy. It drives you nuts thinking about it. If Texas was just 2/10 faster. But that's what the 200 free relay is all about.
Exactly. And it's a relay of perfection. And I think watching it's one of the most exciting things in the sport, that 4x50 relay. And it's exactly, you can't really afford to screw up anywhere in it. And like you said, I mean, 4/10 separating pretty much like 4 places almost.
I'm counting 23, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm counting 30 guys who went under 19.
It's insane. I feel like 18 is the new 19. It's just like we were talking about yesterday, like all these guys in the 8 free relay going 132, and it's like now we've got guys that go 129 regularly and 130. So it's like, yeah, 18 is the new normal, I guess.
I
Well,
love joking with Tally and just saying like, dude, you broke the 2 free. Thanks a lot.
yeah, he showed everybody it was possible, and now everybody's doing it. But
I want to point out real quick as well. I don't know if y'all noticed, but it seemed like the relay exchanges were exceptionally fast this year. I felt like there was 7 or 8 times when I was like, "Oh, there's no way that's not going to be a false start." And then it's like .03. I'm looking at some .03, .07, .10, .08. I mean, there were so many that were just perfect. So that was another really impressive part of it to me as well.
yeah, all there's a lot of stuff. Anytime you can average .2 or better, you got a good thing going. And we had our Texas guys was like .2, 2.2 at .2 or something like that. But and it really makes a big difference. And I'm so glad they have the electronic pads because it looks like they're gone on some of these.
I'm curious to see if the reason why they're able to time them so well is just having the extra space between each lane. I don't know if that just kind of gives you a little bit of a better sense of feel or vision, or I don't know, without it being so just congested and compact around you, just being able to have space to kind of breathe and just not having this close quarters combat feel almost.
Yeah. As a spectator, I really enjoy the spacing to really watch people's strokes and to, keep track of all the 4 teams instead of 8. I really like it. And those waves in the 200 free relay are huge. So I think that helps a little bit to have less waves.
Doubt, especially in that relay. I thought this was the year, if any, to be able to break Auburn's record, just because, I mean, I've never taken part in that relay except for a dual meet or two just for giggles back in the day. But I mean, I can't imagine just the waves that are generated in that. I mean, I would assume it's got to impact everybody, just being an ocean out there. And finally, you can kind of break the water up a little bit and give some of the guys a little bit of a smoother ride going out.
Yeah. I mean, if Biondi was 18.6, 18.7, they would have gotten the record from the Fancy Pants Auburn because they had their, huge rubber pants and rubber suits on that allowed them to average 18.5, way back in 2009. But anyway, it was exciting. And so I was getting a little nervous because Texas was kind of on its heels against the ropes, and the 500 was, man, Trent and Julian went out 136 like a man on a mission to get big time Berkeley points. and Kieran is just floating in the back like a regular guy. And I'm like, this is so weird. And Drew did his job. Drew went out for it. He didn't look like he was going to, he was, going to die. He just did what Drew does. He's got so much easy speed. And then the freshman, Jake, unbelievably, starts his kick earlier at the 200 left. Kieran doesn't start his kick till 75 left. And it's crazy. Jake got it.
Yeah, I loved watching all the different strategies for that race. I mean, that field changed so many times. And I mean, so much respect to Trenton going out and just honestly gassing it from the get-go. I mean, sometimes it's what you have to do to win, and came up a little short, but I mean, sometimes you just gotta risk it for the biscuit. And I mean, Jake closes that race unlike anything I think I've seen in a while. I think when Townley won back in 2019 in Austin, I want to say he was out like a missile too. Just try to kind of blow open a lead and hold on. And I mean, yeah, swimming's just getting so fast. I mean, goodness gracious. Now you have freshmen going 4:06.
Yeah. I mean, Noah, you and I were talking earlier. We were just scratching our head. What is Kieran waiting on?
Yeah,
I was puzzled with that as well.
So bizarre. I remember hearing him talk in an interview a couple weeks ago. I think it was on SwimSwam or something, where he said after SECs, he may have to take it out a little slower if he wanted to get the record and break 4:06. But then I saw him go out 48:0 and then 1:38, and it's like, is he just like tired because he did the 200 free relay like 20 minutes before or what? But then, I mean, he negative split. He came back 47.8, which just tells you there's like an infinite amount of burst he had left. Like he should have started that kick at the 300 and he would have been fine.
Yeah, when you come back in 23.2, you're like, yeah, you didn't time it right.
Right. That's crazy. Yeah.
And I'm trying to think. I think Drew may be a little upset over that swim. I know he had a lot of expectations on himself for the season going into that race, and just having such a phenomenal swim early on in October. I think he was 4:08 mid, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, like with this meet, we were saying earlier, like nothing ever goes according to plan. Nothing goes perfectly. It's just kind of how you rebound and keep chugging along when things aren't going your way, which is a huge testament to our guys. I thought they rebounded well at the end, and I think you
Yeah.
could kind of see in the emotion of all the guys after that relay. You could tell they
Yeah.
were
Yeah. That was
looking
a
for
good
the
release.
spark,
That
and someone
needed.
had that spark. Which I'm glad they were able to step up and do it. I mean, it's what makes it fun. Having them just try and fight back from kind of the hole early on, and we'll see what happens these next couple days.
Yeah. Well, I too am proud of Drew for fighting back. He was faster than this morning. You know, he's probably bummed his best time would have gotten him third, but he's a fighter and he's got more better events ahead. And Trinidad IM did not disappoint. Shane did his thing. You know, probably not 100%, half second off his best. Hugo's so talented. Freshman Destin Lasco, that's exciting. But Carson did his job. Carson did a lifetime best, got fourth, kept us in the ball game. I got to give a shout out to Danny Kovac, my son's teammate at Missouri. He was out first at 21-1 in the 50 fly. So
There we
you
go.
got the lap money over you, because usually Shane is out easily at the 50 first, but Danny got him.
Yeah, Shane was right there at 21-1, and then but I saw Danny go out 21-1, and Danny was really in the race the whole way, and then until the end of the breaststroke, and then he kind of got outsplit on the freestyle. Hugo came back 24-0. Destin came back 23-8. Destin, that was the fastest time for a freshman in history, I believe. So,
Wow,
really, really good. All top three of those guys, broke the pool record, which is nice. But to be honest, I was a little underwhelmed with Shane, because after he was 138, I was like, he's gonna break Caeleb's record for sure. And then he was a little off, like you said.
even if he could match Caleb's first 100, I just don't think it takes a real special person or a heck of a lot of training, more training for Shane to match Caleb's second 100.
Oh,
Yeah, I think
without a doubt.
Caeleb came back like 23-5, 23-4 in that race. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed during the race, and I'm not sure if it affected him at all, but it looked like after it might have been on the breast to free turn or at the 75 to go, but Shane lost his cap. Like, he had two caps on, and the top one fell off and looked like it was like dragging behind him for a couple yards.
I
don't know if you
wondered
noticed
that too, because I swore he started the race with a white cap and he finished it with a black cap.
Yeah, I had to rewind to see, because I was like, oh yeah, he definitely it definitely fell off.
Dang, that was good eye. I knew something was different, but I couldn't tell what it was. That's good eye. So, Will, you've won this event. Give us a little recap. What was your lifetime best and one of your favorite Trinidad IM moments?
Ooh, so I was close to breaking 40. I was 40.0 my sophomore and junior year, and didn't have as good of a race my senior year. I was 40 mid, but yeah, honestly, I mean, this race is a sprint now. It's an endurance sprint, and I'm trying to think if the winner of this race is split slower than 21-7 the last while. I mean, yeah, it's insane, especially now with all the guys doing this. It seems like everyone's always said, breaststrokers make good IMers, but it seems like a lot of these 200 IM champions recently have been, really, really good front half guys who have extremely solid breaststroke legs.
Yeah.
And it's showing. I mean, Shane, I don't think the guy really truly has a weak stroke. Caeleb obviously doesn't. I mean, I think he's held American records in every stroke but backstroke. And yeah, I mean, no, it's unreal. It's so cool to watch. And when Celiskar won back in 2019, I think he was 100 or 200s off Caeleb's record.
Yeah,
Uh,
100th off.
yeah, it's just total bosses that are winning this race now. It's so fun to watch, and I really respect Carson for trying to be that statement swim for us. Like, we needed just some sort of momentum swing to kind of get us going, and he just flat out tried to take out that first 100 as hard as he could, And yeah, so much respect for that. I mean, again, we just needed a guy to step up, and he tried to be that guy, and
Yeah.
I commend him for that, especially being a freshman. I mean, it's a hard place to put yourself in, and
Yeah.
especially for
I thought his 100 turn was outstanding, and he was in a perfect place after the first pull down. I had it had the look like his breaststroke turn in the middle of the breaststroke wasn't perfect, and then
no, yeah, I think he missed the turn. And I'm
yeah,
not sure if his rest of free turn was hit perfectly as well.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But oh yeah,
And
back
so
to rest, he nailed that turn.
yeah,
He
he did. It was
hit that
good.
perfect.
But yeah, so I love the tune at I am. I loved watching you do the tune at I am, Will, and you always got Texas big points and really helped with those team titles. Remind us again, how many tune at I am titles do you have, and how many team titles were you a part of?
For the 200 IM, I have two. Junior, well, I had a tie my senior year with Saranic from Florida, and
That's
then
right.
junior year was the first time I had won that. My sophomore year, I would say, is probably like the best race I've done for it. That was David Nolan, though. He, I think, shattered the American record that
Yep.
year. He was like 39.3, I want to
Yeah, he
say.
was the first guy under. Yeah, I remember that.
I was gonna ask about the tie, Will, because one of my friends and I actually flew out to Indianapolis. I think that's where it was that year,
Right.
and we watched it. But when you tie at NCAA's, is that the most frustrating thing in the world, or is it like, all right, I'm proud of like Mark Zaranek or whoever it was also to share the podium with? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's an interesting point. I don't think I thought of it too much at the time. Kind of in the heat of the moment, my job and our job on the team, like we're just trying to get our hand on the wall in front of oh, sorry, we're trying to get our hand on the wall before the person next to us does, and we're just trying
Right.
to rack up as many points as we can. And I mean, it was kind of interesting. Like I don't think I'd ever been in a situation like that at such a big level meet before. I thought it was kind of neat. Um, I think both of us probably would have liked to kind of have it settled one way or another. But,
Right.
I guess you can kind of count it as a win on both sides. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know how technically you would, but on paper, I guess it's a win. I don't really
Yeah, I
know.
mean, you you can still say you're the champ. I just thought it was funny because I remember being there and watching you both kind of celebrate, but also like the whole crowd goes silent for a sec because everyone's trying to look at the scoreboard to figure out who won, and then like you both are cheering in the water and everyone gets confused. But no, that was cool though.
Yeah, no, I thought it was cool. It's a good story to kind of carry with you the rest of my life, I guess. And we definitely kind of bond over it, and we just laugh about it. Like I think we both enjoy it. I mean, end of the day, he's a national champion. I'm a national champion. I guess we'll take it.
Okay, so moving on to the 50 freestyle, we had Ryan Hoffer with an incredible 18-3 to win by almost 4/10 over his teammate Bjorn Seeliger, and second fastest performer in all time now behind Caeleb Dressel, of course, and I believe the ninth fastest performance of all time, which is pretty unbelievable that Caeleb still holds the top 8. So it's nice to see somebody else among the top 10 with Caeleb. But yeah, there was your Texas guy, Danny Krueger, down at the bottom. Well, not all the way at the bottom, but in 6. Good swim for him. I believe his lifetime best, 19.0. So hasn't quite found the 18 yet, but he's getting closer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Will. Tell us what your thoughts are.
No, I thought he had a good swim as well, and he's a sprinter, but I don't think I've ever met a sprinter that enjoys training as much as he does. I think if it wasn't for Eddie's guidance, Danny would try and kind of inch his way over to distance group every day if he was allowed to. But that's just kind of what makes him such a awesome, hilarious person. But I mean, definitely one of the hardest workers I know, and especially being a sprinter. I mean, definitely not taking away anything from sprinters, but I mean, I don't think I've ever met a sprinter who would love to go 7K of practice if he was allowed to.
Yeah, Danny, he loves to work hard, and he loves to to just help the team out in any way he can, and it's just such a great attitude. He is a joy to be around, and I'm glad he did the best time, and obviously he came back an hour later and went 40 point on the relay to anchor the relay, which we'll talk about next. But I was so impressed with Hoffer's turn and Dolphins coming off that wall. The guy looks like he's pushing off a trampoline, and the only person I've really seen like that is Caeleb, where there's just the Dolphins and the vertical leap is just so ahead of everybody else. It's so fun to watch.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, the guy is just a straight up athlete who's a absolutely phenomenal swimmer, and I mean, you kind of get results like that when you mix the two. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, 18.3 is no joke. I'm excited to see kind of what he has in the bag the rest of the meet, and I mean, freshman going 18.7 as well. That's no joke. And I mean, Cal came to play, and again, I'm just curious to see how everyone kind of can respond to it. I mean, they blew the doors open pretty early on, and it's just whether or not can anyone catch them now.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 freshmen in that final, though. Youssef Ramadan for Virginia Tech, and Bjorn and Adam Cheney.
The 50 free guys seem pretty young. I think there are only 3 seniors through the top 16 guys who all swam at night.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a young field. And then Matt Brownstead from Virginia also really has the 4th fastest time in the country this year with his 18.8 from ACCs, but he only made the B final today. So you got 4 freshmen that are going to be just running the show for the next 3 years after this.
Well, got to say the diving was actually really exciting to watch Texas move up and get first or second. I just, sometimes we don't give diving the credit and time it deserves, but it's I really love watching the Texas divers, and all those divers did a great job on the 1 meter. But then the 400 medley relay was just so fun to watch the heats build and get faster, and who was going to be top 8 and who was going to get top 4. And then the last heat did not disappoint. Texas just looked really good, especially the second half. Alvin Jiang did a wonderful job splitting 44.0 on the fly. Staka 45.0 back. Casper 50.3 on the breast. And then Jiang's 44.0. And then Danny's 40.8. That was the fastest split, I believe, of the day. And they did it. New American record. Because when you guys set the NCAA and U.S. Open record, Will, you had Joe Schooling on it.
So I was actually trying to figure this out. I don't know if it counts as an American record because Casper's Dutch.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he represents the Netherlands.
Okay, so he's not. Well,
because if
I
it's
just heard Rowdy yelling American record after.
Right. It seems like it's the exact same situation as Joe.
Yeah. Okay, so he's.
I don't know if it was an announcing error, but.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I did not know that about Casper, but he has dual citizenship and he races. He's going to try to race for Netherlands at the Olympics?
Correct. He tried to qualify back in December, and he was, I think, hundredths of a second away from making. He was 59.5 in his 100 breast meters, and I think he was really 5 in the 200. So he's legit in the long pool too. I think he just had to be, no joke, I want to say hundredths faster in the 200. So he's going to go compete at European Championships and try and qualify there.
Wow. So yeah, maybe it's not an American record. So just a pool record. So that's interesting. Well, still a very good time, still big points to kind of keep us in the ball game with California. Will, what was your best breaststroke split ever for that relay?
I think I was 49.7, I want to say my senior year, 49.6, 49.7. I want to say it was 49.7.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely thought that would be blown out of the water by, or at least in not this year, next year. I mean, I think Casper and Reese could definitely do some damage to that. And I think McHugh from Minnesota, but I don't know if they qualified a relay because I didn't see them in the field.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. They weren't in there. But then I don't know if y'all saw, but Dylan Hillis, the Florida breaststroker, was 50.2 on his split.
Oh, I did not see that. Wow.
Which is crazy. So so he's going to be in the mix obviously tomorrow as well with Max McHugh and Casper obviously. But yeah, 50.2 from Dylan Hillis was big time.
Yeah. and Reese 50.5, Samal 50.6. Yeah, and Zane 50.6. So yeah, the breaststroke's going to be fun. What are some of the things you would do to recover for the next day? I mean, because there's still 2 more full days to go. What are some of the tricks that you would do that kind of help you prepare and recover?
Right after that relay's done, so I would just go talk to, Eddie and Wyatt, Eddie and Chris back in the day, and just go grab we have like a box full of bars and stuff. Just grab a bar or two, and I'm straight to the warm down pool. Don't really have a set number to do, just making sure I warm down enough to where I feel like I didn't race that day.
Yeah.
So it would be at least a 600 minimum, I would say, and just honestly get in the right headspace as well.
So much of NC2As is physical and mental. It's really difficult to stay in a tough, positive place where you're giving it your all every single time. It's one of the hardest meets you'll ever do, and you did it really well. And I thank you for that. So Noah, Will, any other thoughts about day 2?
I don't think so. I don't have anything else. I think we covered a lot. I'm excited for tomorrow.
Yeah, I thought we ended on a good note. I mean, I think it was by far a best case scenario that we could have hoped for the last 2 events with diving and the relay, and we were able to kind of make it pan out. But there's still a lot of swimming and diving left to go, so we just gotta see how the guys can respond these next 2 days and just see what happens. I mean, it's a fight. I love it. I think it's just a good situation to be in for these guys, and they're going to take away a lot from it in the end.
Yeah, great individual races, great relay races, and of course, great team races. Tomorrow is going to be just as exciting. So we appreciate you guys listening to our day 2 recap. Will, thanks for being great training partners for the Foster brothers and all the rest of the Texas gang. And we're going to be behind you guys as you get ready for trials, and literally just weeks away now. And, we love watching you, and thanks for all you do for Texas and Team USA. And we'll look forward to the next one. And thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you next time. Keep smiling and keep streamlining. Bye-bye.